You know, when you picture orbital mechanics, you probably imagine like pure frictionless geometry. You fire a thruster, you plot an arc, and bam, the spacecraft lands exactly on the X. It's comforting to think it's just, exact math.
Right, but when you look at an actual lunar descent, that perfect math hit a very bumpy reality.
Yeah, a really bumpy reality. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring a fascinating paper by Timothy J. Dillon on curvature variable physics, or CVP, and the Omega Genesis protocol.
Yeah, it's a huge paper.
It really is. Our mission today is to unpack a pretty bold claim that NASA's Artemis Lunar descent architecture is mathematically flawed, and we want to see how a radical new framework is trying to turn a probabilistic landing gamble into an absolute deterministic certainty.
I mean, it really is a massive paradigm shift in how we approach the physics of landing.
Okay, let's unpack this. Dillon argues NASA is using a static curvature gravity model, which suffers from what he calls geometric blindness.
Right, geometric blindness.
Picture driving a sports car at top speed, totally blindfolded, expecting a perfectly flat highway. You are completely ignoring the fact that the moon is covered in massive, hidden speed bumps.
And those speed bumps are actual physical things called mascons.
Yeah.
Mass concentrations under the lunar surface.
Right.
Here's why this matters to you. In the final 15 kilometers of descent, classical models treat the moon's gravity as a smooth, uniform field.
Which it obviously isn't.
Exactly. They assume the curvature gradient is zero. Because they ignore the sharp gravitational shifts caused by these mascons, the math leaves out a crucial force.
And when the guidance system is fighting a force it literally cannot see, the math just spirals out of control, right?
Yeah, exactly. It creates what's called a ghost force with an unbounded divergence operator.
Oh, wow. Unbounded divergence.
Right. To put it simply in plain English, the flight computer essentially panics because the numbers get too huge to process. As you get closer to the surface, the math diverges to infinity.
Wait, infinity?
Yeah, infinity. That leads to massive trajectory overshoots. We're talking terminal velocity residuals exceeding 12 meters per second. Because of this, NASA currently accepts a 1 in 30 loss of crew threshold for Artemis.
A 1 in 30 threshold? That is wild.
Right, and this isn't just theory. Look at Apollo 11. It overshot its target landing site by 8 kilometers directly because gravitational irregularities wrecked their orbit prediction.
Wow, 8 kilometers.
Yeah, or the Apollo 16 PFS-2 subsatellite, which just crashed into the moon after 35 days because its orbit had insufficient gravitational fidelity.
Wait, hold on. If Apollo 11 overshot by 8 kilometers, how did we manage to land multiple times with that same flawed math? I mean, it couldn't have been that broken if it worked back in the 60s, right?
Well, it worked because the astronauts took manual control to correct for those massive errors.
Oh, I see.
The math was broken. Human piloting saved it. But for Artemis, we want autonomous pinpoint landings. To do that, you have to change how the math treats gravity entirely.
Right, which brings us to Dillon's CVP framework. So what does this all mean? If the old math is like a car with a fixed suspension hitting a speed bump and shattering, CVP is like an active suspension system that sees the bump and dynamically softens the shocks in real time.
Yes, that is a perfect way to look at it. Instead of assuming gravity is a static background, CVP makes curvature a dynamic variable.
Okay.
It introduces a curvature-response operator called syntropy. Instead of letting the number spiral to infinity, syntropy forces a zero divergence closure.
So it basically stops the computer from panicking.
It actively neutralizes the mathematical panic, yeah. Because the computer can now dynamically adjust to the gravity shifts, those velocity residuals drop from over 12 meters per second down to under 0.3 meters per second.
That is a massive drop.
It really is. Altitude accuracy tightens to less than 1/10 of a meter.
But doing dynamic math on a chalkboard is one thing. To do this on a descending spaceship, they need completely new hardware to process it.
Yes, the deployment suite relies on NVIDIA GPUs.
Which makes sense.
Right, because dynamic curvature equations require intense parallel processing in real time, which older flight computers just can't handle. They pair those GPUs with refractance sensor arrays.
And those do what exactly?
Unlike traditional sensors that just bounce radar to read altitude, these actively gather raw curvature data on the fly. And finally, because they are targeting craters like Shackleton that are packed with high RF signal noise that could corrupt this delicate data, the ship is wrapped in geodesic shields to deflect the interference.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Dylan doesn't stop at the engineering. He takes a massive leap into
It
philosophy.
does, yeah.
He maps this entire CVP framework directly to the famous Collatz conjecture through what he calls the 88 omega theorems.
Right, so the class conjecture is a famous unsolved math problem where chaotic numbers always eventually fall into a stable loop.
Okay.
Dylan argues that the same algebraic closure that forces those numbers into a loop is at work in the lunar descent.
He literally views the landing site not just as coordinates on a map, but as a universal attractor. I mean, he is suggesting the universe itself is inherently restorative, that if you do the math right, the physics naturally want to pull the ship to a safe start.
It's a profound shift. CVP aims to reduce trajectory sensitivity by a factor of 10. But philosophically, it frames mathematical divergence as incompleteness and convergence as a natural restoration of balance.
Which leaves you with a pretty wild thought to explore on your own.
Definitely.
If orbital geometry and moral domains truly share the exact same restorative mathematical architecture as this paper suggests, could our future deep space navigation computers eventually be used to calculate and map the structural limits of human consciousness? We started out talking about the comfort of perfect, frictionless clockwork. Maybe the real comfort is knowing that even in a chaotic universe, the math always wants to bring us home.